My PC, well, my PC's all set. My lighting for my green screen is not set up to record off my PC and show what's on the screen and record myself at the same time. I mean, I could hold my camera and do all this. I'm not doing any of that nonsense. I'm just going to play the clip that, what's the word? That inspired contemplation, basically. And again, usual, I'm only expressing from me here in my own words, from my own being and my own understanding, my own experiences, etc., 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 etc. I'm just going to play the clip and the audio, hopefully you get picked up by the phone, and I am just going to speak on the video on what it's explaining, the information of what it's explaining. I'm just going to add to that, because there's a few areas where it inspired different points of contemplation. And I was going to try and just record and go with it, but there was too many things. So, I'm just going to play it, pause it when I need to, or wait till the end and then just go with it. Probably pause it in places.
Have you ever wondered why every answer seems to lead to an even bigger question? Why, no matter how much you learn, the horizon of truth never stops expanding? Ancient mystics believed this wasn't a flaw in the journey.
First, let me point out, why do they always got to give credit like that? If information is already authentic, adding to that in any way, shape, or form removes it from authenticity of itself. I'm not, again, I understand social sharing, cultural processes, functions of doing that, record keeping, just all that. But, just sharing information on social media, the ancients, what does it say?
This
ancient mystics. It's like, if the information is authentic, why is credit needed to be given when it's not at all necessary whatsoever in the expression and sharing of the information? To make it sound more, something like that, or what? To make it performative for social media. Or to give credit because the person sharing it doesn't understand it. They're just sharing information that they don't understand because it's not even in their own words. It's in AI's words. And that's exactly why I simply share me. No script, no performance. It is what it is. I am sharing as I am, and that's it. No spam callers.
Journey. It was the journey itself. Most people think truth in the journey. It was the journey. Mystics believed this wasn't a flaw in the journey. It was the journey itself.
Yes, that is the journey. Because, I listened once. I listened to this just once. What did it say? Because, once you hit, and this is why I said, the information is authentic because I've already understood, I've already learned that all on my own internally, again in contemplation and orientation being primary from being for me and not primarily oriented towards the self, I already understand this all on my own. That all they're saying, all this is explaining, I already understand it. Yeah, in my own way, from my own experiences, etc., etc. But it's like the information itself is authentic. So to me, why bother with ancient this, ancient that? I think I just stepped back an additional step, referencing that I wanted to. The journey itself is the journey, because every answer, every truth, because that's why the search for truth never ends, is the title of the 2-minute 46-second clip. It's like, once you understand one thing, and this is why I love it. This is why I love contemplation. Not thinking, contemplating. And a lot more and a lot deeper than that. Learning and understanding one thing, one truth, whatever you want to call it, one answer, take all that language bullshit, throw it aside, about truth, the answer, stuff like that. What is it itself? Authenticity. So it's not finding the truth of something. It's finding, realizing, understanding, seeing, etc., the authenticity of something of itself. Again, I look up, sky's blue, full of clouds, white fluffy clouds, a little hazy. It's there. That's not truth. That is present authenticity of the sky showing me as I'm observing it. I'm not projecting what's out there. I see grays, whites, blues, haze, clouds, puffiness. Looks like marshmallows in the sky. I see wind because they're slowly moving. Again, that's not the truth. That is authenticity. I am observing authenticity and not projecting. And then one damn fly going at my hat. I don't have a screen on the window next to me. It's a vertical window, long, tall. The kids put a big hole in the screen. I gotta fix it. Once you see the authenticity of something of itself, that always has other entanglements to the spider web, so to speak. You find one thread, and suddenly it's going wherever else it goes, from all points of view and every angle. Just like the whole. It's not just 360. It's every point of view, whichever way it can be witnessed, observed, etc., and its authenticity. So, it might be truth or absolute truth or the answer of one singularity of an example, etc., but that never ends. That's only of one thing itself. And that's what I'm saying. It's one answer, and there's more behind it, more entangled to it. There's always more. That's the more I keep referencing in that way. It's infinite. There's always more. The one tricky thing in there, in understanding and stuff, foundationals. I'm not even going to get into those. Nope. I'm not. Those are, again, like the sky is blue. Like that is a foundational statement, because I observe it is blue. That's the foundational color that's there, or whatever's coming off of that. I just got pulled into that more. I'm literally, just like I said, this has just got me contemplating, and I just follow the threads. Whatever comes to me, whatever is inspired, whatever entangles or comes up from one thing to another, I just keep going, and I honestly have a fucking blast doing it. I could just sit here and stare at the wall, and I'm doing things inside in contemplation and being that there is no amount I could ever speak. And not to mention even the Micro Machines guy. He ain't keeping up with it. I mean, everybody already knows. Again, another easiest way to point that is, you hear a song, they say you hear it in your head. You're not really hearing it in your head, so to speak. I mean, well, it depends on what you're hearing. Hearing the intangible, which isn't even on audio, and you're not trying to think of it, which is not really thinking, that's closer to contemplation and remembrance and stuff like that. You know, hearing a song perfectly in your head, but you can't say the words, even though they're perfect in your head, so to speak. Yeah. That's what I mean. There ain't no keeping up. And it's fun for me. Like I said, like it's about to say, which I've said it before, it's just, maybe not even publicly, but documentally. One truth, one thing leads to another, leads to another, leads to another. Even as, that's why I've already said, even a bird on the freaking wire out there singing, a roly-poly bug in the dirt, to the endless unknown dynamics of a singular human being that, if it's not you, that you'll never fully understand. It's like there's always more. One answer, one truth, one understanding. There's more. Not to mention, that's only speaking on authenticity. That's not even including the amount of distortions everybody puts on them. It's like, yeah. And they're talking about, and the video talks about infinity, like, it's a lot more than you can state. I'm getting in the groove this morning. Don't mind me. I'm had a bad morning, and I'm just getting in my groove.
Most people think truth is a destination, a final point where...
It is a destination of the thing itself. But that's not the whole. That is one answer for one inquiry, one singularity for one singularity. It's the duality of a singularity. I like that. Hey, that is cool. That really is true. Because again, the truth of this little screwdriver right now won't be the same in a different point of time. In the singular moment, the truth is just the singular moment of the question, answer. That's a mindful. That's going to be more than a mouthful. See, that's fun. It's like a puzzle. It's like suddenly you answer one thing, and then there's something else, and there's something else, and it's just, I'm in here and like just inside, just having fun. I don't know how else to describe it. Because I'm not thinking. I could do this all day and not be drained. This will have the opposite effect on me if I'm sitting here enjoying myself. I'll end the day feeling better, more energized. Or if I sat here thinking, if I brought out a math book and started doing math problems all day, I'd be banging my head off the wall after 2 hours. And I enjoy math. So I said, like, it's not thinking. It's the basic understanding or explanation word I could use is contemplating. It's only a final point in that singularity. That's what was that's right. That's what I found cool. Because again, the truth of one thing, one truth of one thing in one moment are all singularities. And the truth is the singularity of all of it as one. It is just all one in one moment. You see what I mean? It's just, but not in the next moment, or it could be, but the very moment doesn't, a singular moment of truth, etc., doesn't determine anything else but that single moment. That's why I keep saying that's a singularity of a singularity. And oh, you know what? I'm getting pulled in. Like I said, I have fun, and it's like, oh, there's another puzzle piece. What does this look like? It's like, try to understand. Oh, that leads to this one. To understand that more. See, again, one to another, and it's just like, imagine a mechanic with just all the time in the world, every day, and just a football field and a warehouse full of cars to fix. And a person authentically, completely enjoyed fixing them. It'd be like, wow, this is fun. This is going to be a blast. From one to another, to another, to another. But I just internalized, I just enjoy doing that. Internally, not externally. Except now I'm just speaking on it.
All uncertainty disappears. They imagine a final point where all uncertainty disappears. They imagine that one day they will discover the ultimate secret and everything will suddenly make perfect sense.
That's foundationals, not absolutes. If you understand the foundation, authentic foundation of something, when there's nothing deeper to understand of something, but that's the bottom, that's it, there's nothing deeper than it, then that is everything, not everything, not every point of view. That is just the end of one direction of understanding. And almost like a universal tool for understanding something, like, okay, wrench. If I understand, yeah, actually, this is a very easy example. If I understand the foundation of this wrench, what could I do with it? Anything. If I understand the foundational understanding of this wrench, not of everything, of just this wrench, nothing else attached to it, the singularity of this wrench, what could I then do with that? Yes, I could then learn all of the answers to this wrench. That doesn't mean you know everything. That means you have access to everything. You still got to find it. Because again, I don't know. I know how to use this. I don't know every use for it. I don't know everything this could be used for, but I know how to use it. Therefore, I can learn how to use this in every which way it can be used. Because it is a singularity by itself. And if I do not distort it, it will always be useful in the way it could be useful. If you understood that. So it's not, what would that just say?
Disappears.
A final point and all uncertainty disappears. You know, ooh, that's another one. That got me digging into foundations. Understanding the foundations of something isn't suddenly you know everything of it. It means you can make full use of it. Period. You understand something from, like the wrench again. It's not, the goal isn't I understand the foundation of this and that's all that's needed. That is the starting point for me. Understanding this, and then what do I do with it? An infinite number of ways I can use it that way. That's the journey, that's the point, that's the value. You don't stop at understanding the wrench, understanding the foundation of it, etc., the singularity of the wrench, what its function is, etc. That is when you can properly use it, utilize it, enjoy it, harmony, congruence, etc., or disruption. Well, at least it'll be authentic. Like I said, don't mind me. This video it got me contemplating, and I was already contemplating earlier, trying to express on the fly information versus having to always give credit with it, where information itself is already authentic. Where I'm not even going to get into that.
They imagine that one day they will discover the ultimate secret, and
no, not the ultimate secret. It's simply how to use it, and then use it. Discover every which way you can use it. Let it express itself. Just let the tool be the tool and enjoy the tool. Yeah. Removing nuts and bolts. Simple ones aren't really that enjoyable, but when the difficult ones, this makes it difficult things to remove, that this makes it simple. That makes this in and of itself extremely valuable to realize in the moment. And I enjoy doing that. Like, thank you, little wrench, for making it easier on my knuckles. Like, yeah, it really is that simple, that stupid, but you could do that with everything all the fucking time. Y'all can stay on the ground. I'll be on cloud 99.
Everything will suddenly make perfect sense. But according to Hermetic philosophy and many esoteric traditions, truth is not a treasure hidden at the end of the path. It is an infinite reality that reveals itself layer by layer as your consciousness evolves.
And again, yeah. And why is it, again, why is credit given? If the information, like, obviously, now this is why. Obviously, the people sharing it don't understand it because they're not putting it in their way. They're always outsourcing credit, not to take accountability for their own words. I'm here saying, here are my fucking words. I understand this shit before ever hearing anybody else's shit. Again, they talk about ancients and mystics and this and that. Well, I never heard from them. I learned this shit on my own, and I'm hearing it now. And all I'm hearing is it being outsourced and not the poster's understanding. Confirming understanding and of the authenticity of what is being shared, of somebody else's words. Again, their credit is given to ancients, mystics, this, that, and that, whatever else they just said, whoever else they just said. And it's like, well, what do you think? It's like, it's just, here's some information, here's some information, here's some information. Here's from this person, that person. It's like, can't you do the work yourself? And, you know, you can't make sure that's actually authentic before sharing it. But no, you gotta give them others credit in case it's false. And I'm just sitting here saying, I understand this, and I didn't learn it from this or anyone else. No ancients, no mystics. I learn all this kind of stuff from, again, a being orientation, being primary all my life. I've been internal first all my life. It's 3 years old. I don't know how to make physicality the priority. Well, when I tried to, it caused a lot of suffering. So it's like, you know, not being able to understand this because I am self-oriented, and then sharing others' information instead of taking credit of my own understanding, which has to come from being regarding me. I can't do that. You know what? I'm not. That's a pretzel of an explanation. Screw it. I apologize.
Imagine climbing a mountain. From the base, you see only the first ridge.
Yes. Oh, look, there's the answer. Put your head up. Oh, shit, look at all that. Yeah. It is like that. One thing always leads to another, leads to another, leads to another. And I simply have fun going from one to another, no matter how superficial or deep it gets. No matter how honest or horrific it is. I enjoy it all. Because unless it's presently influenced, presently, you know, again, unless it's, I have nothing to worry about knowing the damages to what this wrench could do to use in the wrong way. I don't need to hide from those truths unless it's suddenly being physically done to me. If it's not present, yeah, even horrific things. It's not here, it's not now. What do I need to hide from it for? Yeah, half an hour now from 48 seconds in a 2 and 3/4 minute video. and people have performance issues.
When you reach the top of that ridge, an entirely new landscape appears. The higher you climb, the farther you can see. Yet with...
Now, what stopped me right there, literally, like, listen in, I wasn't trying to think ahead or contemplate, etc., but I put myself internally in the point of view of that analysis, of that example, of as if I am rising up, like, no, like literally as if the ground is rising underneath me and I'm physically going up to the sky. And I could see all the way out. It expands, but you know what disappears? The thing at the bottom. Everything gets smaller and smaller and smaller until you can't see it no more. So I'm like, wait, everything's expanding. The horizon's expanding as you go up. But the things that were as big as they were at the bottom are now out of sight. I thought that was like well, I don't know where that goes. That was just a quick, like I inverted the analogy. Again, seeing the horizon, what you're seeing more, but then I thought, well, what are you seeing less? And it's like then you put it in your own physicality state, whereas if you're raising up on a platform up to the sky, the horizon's expanding, but, you know, again, you're not going to see a single ant crawling on the sidewalk where you just stood before you went up the elevator. And it's like, I don't know what, I didn't keep going from there. But that's a nice little bit I'm just going to add, because I might contemplate on that later. Because that really caught my interest. Like, all that in literally milliseconds before the next sentence even began or finished. I don't know if that's, you know what, I'm being honest here. I don't know if, I'm not speaking in comparative ways. I don't give a fuck if anything I say is absolutely normal for everybody. I'm just going to speak me, how I am, as I am, and that is it. Whether everybody's like that or nobody's like that, I don't give a fuck if I'm just being me.
Every new horizon, you also realize how vast the world truly is. Spiritual knowledge works the same way. Every genuine insight expands awareness, but it also reveals how much remains unseen. This is why the greatest sages often described themselves as humble seekers rather than masters.
I could care less about those titles and references. Having to declare yourself humble. For me, that's just nonsense for me. I don't need to declare shit like that. All I have to say is I understand what, how do I put that? I understand what matters more than me. In more ways, in deeper ways than I can explain. I know what is worth more than me. Even me to me. What ego out there could say that? And yet, now that's the only, like, nonsense I will speak is, you know, basically, what kind of ego out there is speaking that? To declare yourself humble, that's more superficial to me. Like, that's like the declarative of, like, performative. If you truly understand what matters more than you to yourself, even, that's That's not humble. That is beyond. That is much deeper than humble. Again, I'm not putting anybody else in any way. This is my understanding. I'm not thinking anything lesser of anybody that is less than humble, deeper than humble, or humble. See, again, everything being as it authentically is more than me, for me, to me, etc. The whole self-centeredness. As in, I matter most and everything else is secondary. No, I am just one little singularity in all of this, everywhere. This isn't here for me. I didn't make this. It doesn't serve me. I don't want it to. And I completely lost track of what the fuck point I was trying to make there, because I probably went too far off the original point. Now I'm literally backtracking here. And now saying that disrupted me even further. I gotta correct my interruption, then correct my interruption. Correction. Oh, shit. Yeah. Oh, yeah, humble. Like, I don't know. Just understanding what matters more than you, even to yourself. It's just... I just completely threw myself off track, and I lost the example I was going to give. Oh, you know what? Enough.
How much remains unseen. This is why the greatest sages often described themselves as humble seekers rather than masters. The more deeply they understood reality, the more they recognized its immeasurable depth.
Immeasurable depth. Now, you see, this is what is basically giving me a mind fuck. This is why I hate the performative side of social media. Talking about ancient mystics, stuff like that. And it's like, the more they recognize the immeasurable depths.
Seekers rather than masters. The more deeply they understood reality, the more they recognized its immeasurable depth.
Yeah. I began awareness in complete open wonder from being orientation. From being orientation being primary. So, limiting everything to any limitation was always like, I don't know how anybody even does that. Like, I remember growing up, and again, my understanding of society and stuff like that expanding, and a physical reality of the world, the weather, the animals, insects, biology, nature, everything going on. I've never limited myself to any structures or limitations of understanding. Mine was always open wonder, and they're saying that the more they recognize this immeasurable depth, Like, I'm like, you've been trying to measure that? What? Like, what? That's always been like, I've never looked at things that way. Again, I just let everything be as it is. Why? Again, I'm just open. I'm just openly contemplating, but it's a lot slower and harder when I'm speaking it instead of just sitting here in silence doing it within. Because I'm doing it, I'm slightly doing it within, and as I'm speaking and observing myself, too much all at once. Immeasurable depths of existence, reality, and life. No offense. I've always known they were immeasurable. They were just simply understanding information, or however you want to put it. Like, I know there's limitations on physical reality, but I mean, again, function, process, etc. Again, it doesn't matter what I think or believe in this, or what I even know at this point in time. I cannot float out of this chair and fly out my window. That's not a limitation of reality. I mean, that's a limitation of a function of reality, or process, or however you want to put it. That does not define or dictate the whole. You know what? 42 minutes in. I'm only a minute and 22 seconds in to a 2-minute and 46-second video. And even the amount I am speaking, just to use the word off the screen, is immeasurable, or is comparatively immeasurable to the amount going on internally than what I could speak. And I've already taken 43 minutes. That's just, people got performance issues. I'm just openly speaking. I'm having a good morning now. Don't mind me. And people wonder, put up a camera, what should I say? How should I act? Put up a camera in front of me, man. I'll just be me. All right, you know what? I apologize. This is just some lightness. Let's move on.
Wisdom did not inflate their certainty. It dissolved their arrogance.
Arrogance of what? Now you see, again, I'm being oriented. If it's not that, if it's not me, then it's not me. There's nothing to be arrogant about. Information that is not me, something that is not me, why would there be arrogance at all? It is that it is. Even something I say came from me, but it is that it is.
Hermetic teachings remind us that the universe itself is alive, constantly unfolding through cycles of creation, transformation, and renewal. If reality is always moving, then understanding must also remain alive.
If reality is moving, There is movement everywhere. There is never any stagnation. There's always movement. Always something. Even in stagnant water, there is something moving. There is some process happening. Bugs, bacteria, whatever, you know. You know what, there is so much movement. Examples of it, to even question it is like, where you been living? Your head under a rock? No, it's just AI created crap.
The person who believes they possess absolute truth has often stopped growing.
Yeah, because, again, you think that's absolute truth, that's just ego and ignorance. To think you know everything. Again, the only absolute truth is the singularity of a singularity within a singularity. You get something of something, you observing something, the absolute truth of something in that singular moment. That's the only thing that's absolute about it. Other than, see, there's so distorted, that absolute shit. That's why authenticity. It defines, it defends, it dictates itself. Allow everything to be itself. The hell with the whole absolute truth shit. Again, that is just, I already explained that. It's more foundationals of one example. One answer for one question. It's foundational. It's going to have different examples of it, entanglements of it. But if there's nothing deeper, that is not absolute truth. That is foundational. And foundational is authentic, without distortion.
While the one who continues questioning keeps the inner flame of wisdom burning. This doesn't mean truth is unknowable. Rather, it means that truth is living. Every state.
Movement. Living is movement. Can even the software get this shit right? It questions whether reality is moving, and then it's stating movement within reality. Like, no. No.
Stage of your life allows you to understand the same teaching in a completely different way. A sentence that once seemed ordinary may suddenly become profound after a single life-changing experience.
Mm-hmm. Again, I've already learned that on my own. I get distracted from that. Oh, what's it?
Rather, it means that truth is living. Every stage of...
The truth is living. Living is movement. And it questions if reality is moving or not. That's like that simple question. Well, your car's going 55 miles an hour and you're stationary inside of it. Are you moving? Yeah. You are just moving with the car. You are part of the car in a manner of speaking regarding reality and the rules and processes and everything of it, or else you wouldn't be there. It's like, stick your head out the window. You'll feel movement. Just because movement is being directed away from the vehicle and not inside the vehicle doesn't mean you're not moving.
Your life allows you to understand the same teaching in a completely different way. A sentence that once seemed ordinary may suddenly become profound after a single life-changing experience.
Again, just like I explained earlier, a single thread, a single example, a single understanding, etc., all points of view. You just have to be able to have something to, again, take a wrench and look at it from this way. You got to be able to move around it or move this around you. Look at it from different angles. That's why the only thing I really downplay is distortion, unnecessary distortion. Even like I said, there's always more. There's always more to everything. It's like, if there's less, that's only your own limitations. Because, again, if I stop using this wrench, how it's created to function, I could use this in any way I choose fit. I choose to. So, why limit at all? That's always more. Like, I could do so much more with that, even more than what it's designed to do. It's like, even just knowing that adds value to that, then limiting towards, oh, I can only use it for this and that's it.
The words never changed. You did. Perhaps the greatest mystery is that the search itself...
Yeah, the words never changed. You did. Again, the wrench. The wrench, it is that it is. If I could use that, I could use it as a hammer. If I got a little tiny nail and I just want to pop, 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 pop. It's like the wrench didn't change. My use of it did. I changed, not the wrench.
Transforms the seeker. Every question refines perception. Every challenge removes another illusion. Every sincere step reveals a deeper version of yourself.
I don't know. You see, that's where it gets more self-oriented to me in this video. Deeper versions of yourself. Versions. Your being is your foundation. There are no other versions. I am the same singular being, person, etc., sitting right here. That, again, which I've told the story many times, that the same as I was as 3 years old, throwing that ice cream cone on that bitch's porch. I'm just using loose language. I'm not... It's like I have learned, experienced, expanded, etc., grown, you name it. But the me, not me, like the body grows, the body does whatever, I could, and the body dies. The singularity of me, my awareness, my being, the internal processes, the things, the way I've internalized things, everything, it's never, ever changed. Just, again, putting more things on this desk. Hypothetically speaking right now, me, I'm the desk. It never changes, but I could endlessly stack anything I want on top of it. That's how it's been since 3 years old. I could expand, I could build on top of this desk and everything, but I cannot change it. It's always been what it always was. So these versions of yourself, I'm like, no offense. You know what? I don't know how to put that now because I made a joke that know thyself. Simple simple phrase, and I jokingly said, "No, it's more know thy being." But it's more of thy, know thy, than you know thyself and know thy being. The important thing is thy, me, the foundation. Whatever happens, you know what? Yeah, it's so hard to explain. It's just there's just been that foundational, unchanging constant of me since awareness within even came online.
The search for truth never ends because consciousness itself has no final boundary. And maybe that is the greatest secret of all. Truth is not a place you arrive at. It is the endless unfolding of awareness, inviting you to become more than you were yesterday.
That's it. Again, not truth. Authenticity. Truth is, again, dynamic, distortion, etc. Authenticity is something of itself without disruption, distortion, adding, subtracting, anything. It is just the singularity of something of itself. Again, no different than if this screwdriver could just sit here and float and exist independently in this very state without any disruption. That would be the authenticity of the screwdriver. Not me holding it, not me using it, just it's simply being of itself. That's not truth, that's authenticity. You know what? Literally 1 hour off of a 2-minute and 40-second video on the fly. I apologize and I don't. I had fun. There's still a little more being I'm still slightly lessening the expression. Yeah, because again, if I truly spoke every single thing that happens, no. No. Again, I'm just speaking from me here. I'm not dictating anything over anybody. I'm simply speaking from my being. That is my primary orientation, and that's it. That's all I'm speaking from and on. You know what I mean? I'm not dictating anything over, for, through anyone. Everybody, I'd rather everybody be their authentic, absolute authenticity. There you go. Be your absolute authenticity. But even that is inauthentic, because authenticity, again, it is the singularity by itself. Choo-choo. You know, I'll play that once back now without interruption.
Have you ever wondered why every answer seems to lead to an even bigger question? Why, no matter how much you learn, the horizon of truth never stops expanding. Ancient mystics believed this wasn't a flaw in the journey, it was the journey itself. Most people think truth is a destination, a final point where all uncertainty disappears. They imagine that one day they will discover the ultimate secret, and everything will suddenly make perfect sense. But according to Hermetic philosophy and many esoteric traditions, truth is not a treasure hidden at the end of the path. It is an infinite reality that reveals itself layer by layer as your consciousness evolves. Imagine climbing a mountain. From the base, you see only the first ridge. When you reach the top of that ridge, an entirely new landscape appears. The higher you climb, the farther you can see. Yet with every new horizon, you also realize how vast the world truly is. Spiritual knowledge works the same way. Every genuine insight expands awareness, but it also reveals how much remains unseen. This is why the greatest sages often described themselves as humble seekers rather than masters. The more deeply they understood reality, the more they recognized its immeasurable depth. Wisdom did not inflate their certainty. It dissolved their arrogance. Hermetic teachings remind us that the universe itself is alive, constantly unfolding through cycles of creation, transformation, and renewal. If reality is always moving, then understanding must also remain alive. The person who believes they possess absolute truth has often stopped growing, while the one who continues questioning keeps the inner flame of wisdom burning. This doesn't mean truth is unknowable. Rather, it means that truth is living. Every stage of your life allows you to understand the same teaching in a completely different way. A sentence that once seemed ordinary may suddenly become profound after a single life-changing experience. The words never changed. You did. Perhaps the greatest mystery is that the search itself transforms the seeker. Every question refines perception. Every challenge removes another illusion. Every sincere step reveals a deeper version of yourself. The search for truth never ends because consciousness itself has no final boundary. And maybe that is the greatest secret of all. Truth is not a place you arrive at. It is the endless unfolding of awareness, inviting you to become more than you were yesterday.
It's funny listening to that, being self-oriented, and again, and I'm just being open here, not putting anybody down, but as if imagine hearing that, all of that, and for somebody who's their entire life is just like a little tiny piece of society. I'm not even sure if I even want to hear what that sounds like to other people who are, I mean, again, people could think and be however the heck they want. I only speak when it negatively influences me. But I don't know. Limitations for any reason to me is just like so foreign. Like, ugh, no. I'm just thinking, like, I can imagine how weird this sounds to somebody who just, gets up and does the same functions every day for society and lives on the side here and there on vacations on the weekends. Like, life is secondary, societal function is primary. That is so backwards to me. I can imagine how some of this sounds, though, sometimes. But that's it. An hour and 6 minutes off of a 2-minute and 46-second video. If I only had the constant privacy, I'd probably be doing this like 8 hours a day, 8 to 10 hours a day with ease. Catch you later.